Hi there, I'm Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up for Sunday, June 20th, 2021. Thank you very much for your kind attention. If this is your first time viewing this video, welcome. I'm a professional psychic. I've been doing psychic readings and past life regressions and rebirthing and psychic development instruction and house clearings and music in Austin, Texas since 1988. So I've been doing music a lot longer than that, but professional readings for the last 33 years. So today I'm going to talk about my summer special first, and then I'm going to talk about the weekly transits, what's on board, my interpretation of the transits, what's going on astrologically. It's kind of like the weather forecast, but for astro for the week. And then I'm going to do mini readings for all 12 signs, and I will be putting the timestamps below this video for that. So thank you so much for those of you who have donated to support this channel. Really appreciate it. And so I will put links to both Venmo and PayPal if you too would like to send a donation or a tip to help support this channel. So okay, so I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And as usual, or as I've been doing recently, I've got my birth chart pulled up here and then the transits around the outside. And so that's what I'm going to focus on. This just helps me because I pull this up every day. So I have on the side, which you can't see with my screen share, but I have like all the current planets and their signs pulled up, and the current degrees everything's in. And then I just watch things, right? I pay attention and I listen to what the planets are telling me. I have a basic understanding of astrology. I mean, I've been studying for decades, but there's just astrology is one of those things that you can just dive deeper and deeper and deeper into. Okay. Wait, I'm gonna stop sharing a minute and talk about my summer schedule first. Summer special. Okay, so my special this summer is to encourage my clients to throw parties. Okay, so this is one of the most fun things that I find in doing readings professionally. And I have been doing parties since I started. In fact, I initiated my career at a party. So, and that was before I even started charging. That was the party made me decide I need to charge for my readings. So, so two ways that parties can be structured. One, the host or hostess pays for my time by the hour and gifts whoever is at their gathering free readings with me. Usually I'm in a separate location, private location, and guests get 15-minute readings is what's typical at a party, and the hostess will pay for my time by the hour. So my special rate is, my usual rate is $200 an hour, which is $70 for every 15 minutes. But the summer special is for parties is $200 an hour or $50 for every 15-minute readings. And so the other way a party is scheduled is that the host or hostess just has me available at their party. They're not paying me for my time. Their guests each pay me for their individual readings. 15-minute readings is, again, what's usual, $50, per guest. But if the smaller parties, readings can be more like 30 minutes a piece, right? There's more time for people to get longer readings. So $100 readings. So if you host a party, if you schedule a party and then host it, when you host your party, you will receive an hour free reading gift certificate, which you could use for yourself for the future, or for an hour reading, or 2 30-minute readings for yourself into the future, little phone readings or whatever. Or you can gift them, one person for an hour or 2 people for 30-minute readings. So that's the special. There's a special on the rate per hour. There's a special for hosting one that you get gifted a free hour reading. Okay, so that's my summer special. So you have to have scheduled your party by the end of July to receive these special rates, right? So your party guests, like I said, if you want to have me there and have your guests pay, they get a break. If you want to have me there as the host or hostess, you get a break in my overall fee. And I usually put a tip jar out in either case scenario. So that makes up for a little bit of difference for reducing the fees for the party. So anyway, that's my spiel. Now I will go back to my screen sharing and my chart and the transits for the week. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the sun, which right now as I'm recording this is at 29 degrees of Gemini, 55.56. It is right there about to spill into first degree of Cancer. So these last degrees of Gemini, you may have felt very caught up in your mind today. Gemini rules the mind, right? So we still have a Mercury retrograde, although it will turn direct this week on Tuesday. Yay. We have the North Node still in Gemini at 10 degrees. So I've talked about these things in previous videos. So I'm going to focus more on, well, actually, I'm going to go sign by sign. I mean, sun, planet by planet is what I feel guided to do today, is talk about planet by planet. So, alrighty. So the sun, wrapping up the theme of Gemini, it will feel like a liftoff this week when Mercury goes direct and the sun's already moving out. Like it can relieve the pressure on the brain, on the mind, on the miscommunication, on communication. The sun moving into Cancer, which what we'll be doing later this evening and into tomorrow. 0 degrees of Cancer. I know well because my midheaven is here at 0 degrees of Cancer. 0 degrees is the first degree of any transit, right? Of all the signs. There's 30 degrees. So it's like the horoscope is divided into little 30-degree chunks. Each sign takes up 30 degrees, right? Okay, going all the way around. So this transit for the next 30 days of the sun moving into Cancer. So the themes of Cancer are about nurturing. It's the mama, it's the moon. Cancer's ruled by the moon. It's the divine feminine. It's our first experience of our feelings, how we nurture ourselves as Cancer, especially in the early degrees, is how we nurture ourselves. So self-care becomes really prominent when the sun goes into Cancer. If you're not doing well with self-care, that can really start setting up health issues. I've noticed when the sun moves into Cancer, it's a very sensitive sign, and our bodies can respond. Cooking is another Cancer sign, nutrition. So focus on feelings. Needing time to yourself. Cancers need space. It's also can bring up childhood memories. Can really surface during the transit of the sun moving through Cancer. It can also be an emotional cleansing time. But if you are not in touch with your feelings and someone who wants to run away from your feelings, this could be a really tough next 30 days. If you're someone who is a feeling sensitive empath like I am, Cancer transits can feel really yummy because everything feels, it's just in a feeling sign, you know. So us feelers, when the sun moves through the sign, a feeling sign, Cancer is a very feeling sign. It's just easier to be in touch with intuition. It's easier to be in touch with your feelings and knowing what you're feeling. If you go within, if you take the space and time away from the world and go within. Venus has been transiting Cancer for a while. It's at 22 degrees as I record this. So 22s are about feelings. I feel and I feel some more. And it mixed to a 4, which is a breakdown, breakthrough. I think feelings is like I feel my own self and I feel what you're going through, I think is the ultimate expression of the 22 energetic. And so um, I feel like this is a positive thing with the Venus energy right now in Cancer at 22. And this week she'll be tracking on along, uh, moving up to by 29 degrees by the end of the week. And then she'll be moving into Leo, which is more demonstrative. So the Venus, what does she represent? She represents our relationships. It's our value, our love, what we love, how we receive energy. Can be money specifically. And so Venus in Cancer, we've been sorting through our feelings, what we feel about relationships, what we feel about the energy that we're drawing in our life. What do we feel about that? And the sun is going to be illuminating this even more. Okay, we have Mercury is stationing. It's at 15 degrees, or 16 degrees, and then it will be stationing. It won't go any further retrograde. It'll stay at 16 degrees, and then it'll stop and turn direct on Tuesday. So anytime a planet is stationing to turn direct or retrograde, and we have 3 doing that this week. Right now, we have Jupiter just went retrograde since I started, like it just in the last hour or so went retrograde. So we have Jupiter, which is the planet that represents our beliefs. It expands things, and it's in at 2 degrees of Pisces. So Jupiter at 2 degrees of Pisces is expanding once again to our feelings of our psychic sense, our spiritual self. And then once a planet goes retrograde, as Jupiter just did, Pluto is retrograde here at 26 degrees of Capricorn. We have Saturn retrograde at 12 degrees of Aquarius. So now we have, with Mercury as well, retrograde, we've got a lot of these. It's almost kind of like when you're riding in a boat and all of a sudden you just turn the engine off and you let it coast. Like we're not really like these outer planets are really our life teachers, whereas the inner planets, Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury, are more about what's going on internally. The outer planets is more what's going on in the world and what are major themes that are going down on the planet right now. And so when all these outer planets are now retrograde, except for Uranus is still direct, but all the rest of these now are going to be, Neptune turns direct by the end of the week as well. So right now it's still direct, but it will be retrograde by the end of the week. So it's starting to station. Jupiter at its really powerful sense it turned around today. Mercury is about to turn around. So these are all heightened. Mercury's heightened right now. Jupiter's heightened right now. And Neptune's all heightened. Both Jupiter and Neptune are in Pisces. So Neptune is at home in Pisces. This is the spiritual teacher. It's a psychic awareness. Jupiter expands things. So Jupiter has been expanding our awareness of our sensitive feelings and our listening to our intuition. Like listen. And it's already doled out the lessons it plans on teaching when it goes through Pisces. It's going to go retrograde. It's going to go back into Aquarius. And then by the end of the year, what do my notes say that Jupiter, it will go direct on October 18th. So Jupiter will be retrograde till October 18th. Mercury goes direct on Tuesday. Neptune goes retrograde on Friday, and it'll be retrograde till December 1st. Okay, so I believe Pluto goes direct in October. Saturn goes direct in October. So we have October's going to be a big shift month. I just feel it kind of quaking ahead of time. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so we have Uranus here in Taurus. It's going direct. It's 13 degrees. It is squaring Saturn here at 12 degrees. It's been squaring Saturn all year long. We had an exact square last week with Saturn retrograde. My feeling is that this exact square, where it showed up in a huge external way in February, was really more about internal. With Saturn retrograde, I think And Uranus, I think it was about big ahas internally about changing direction. So I think we're all sort of leveled with a big realization, is my sense of things over the last week. Especially Jupiter's been revealing new belief systems. Feel out trusting, believing in a new spiritual, new psychic direction. Neptune's been saying, yeah, do that. Listen to your dreams, listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, right? So these two have been really teaching about listening to your intuition. Now, as Jupiter's turn retrograde, as Neptune will later, it's kind of like, okay, now, did you listen to yourself? We've been showing you, pointing the way. Jupiter and Neptune have both been giving you psychic signals already. The moon, it's in Scorpio right now. It's also a place where you'll get psychic signals, psychic downloads. So the next couple days, there should be some real strong reveals as I see it, because we will also be having Venus appear trining Neptune. Tomorrow is when it's exact. So it's already feeling this energy. So trines are like a kiss, a beneficent energy between our spiritual psychic nature here, Neptune and Pisces, and what we love. So we could really get some very clear downloads about love, about relationship, about how to open to receive what we want in our lives, right? Mars here, the planet of taking action, is in Leo. It's at 5 degrees of Leo, right on top of my natal Leo as I record this, actually almost exactly on top of it. It's at 5 degrees, and then 52, I guess it's kind of like a minutes and 5 seconds. And so mine's at 555. So the five is a thinking, right? And Mars is about taking action. So when Mars is at a 5 degree, early degrees of Leo, it's about how we take action to follow our heart, what we love, what we're passionate about. The inner degrees are about self, the mid degrees are about relationship to the outer world, and the outer degrees are about like the future, right? So we have Neptune here trying to forecast the future, Pluto here forecasting future stuff, the sun at the moment forecasting future stuff, Venus here forecasting future. And I say that because they're at these last degrees, right? So Mars is at the early degree. So it's saying, pay attention to how you put energy into yourself. Right now, pay attention to how you put energy into your thoughts. Are you blocking how you take action? Is your thoughts blocking your action? Or are you letting your mind dictate positive things? So I know this lesson well because my sun is at 5 degrees, trining my Mars at the same degree. So I have learned. So my Mars in Leo has taught me that if I don't feel passion towards it, I can't do it. Can't move towards it. Can't make myself move it. I can't get excited about it mentally either. So if I get excited about something logically, mentally, and I felt passion towards it, bam, I can move towards it and take action and go for it, right? So we're all being taught this lesson right now today. Like, what did you learn today about your thoughts in connection with taking action? I'm going to toss that out there. And whenever you're listening to this videotape, I feel like it's appropriate, even though you may be listening to this during a week when the planets are doing something different. There's something for you in this video if you're tuning in at whatever time you tune into it. Okay. So personal planets are all here on the upper horizon too. Notice that, right? We've got Mars, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, North Node, all on the upper horizon. So is Black Lilith, Ceres here, and Uranus. On the downside, this is subconscious, unconscious, like a working deep level karma stuff out is how I see this. We have Neptune, Pallas, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Pholus, Juno, South Node, and the moon right now. So I see this as a horizon line, right? So a lot of times these planets are what's, like showing up in this would be almost like what you can see in the night sky. And this is like more on the other side of the hemisphere, right? or these are unconscious, subconscious. When people have a lot of planets here on the outside, this is like social. So I'm a pretty social person. I got a lot of planets here dealing with all kinds of aspects out in the world. I do have some strong inner planets here too, needing a lot of space. So that's just throwing a little bit of astrology out there that's jumping out at me. Okay. Jupiter is activated this week because the sun is trining Jupiter on Wednesday, and Venus is okay. So okay, all right, and we have the South Node in Sag, which is ruled by Jupiter, right? So there's this strong emphasis. Jupiter is really asking us to pay attention to our intuition. It's strongly this week. I feel like we all need to listen to our intuition, and that everyone is psychic, and the higher self is talking to us through our intuition. And so listening and following our intuition is how we get on track with our lives, right? The planets are just teachers. To me, they're illuminating different aspects and allowing us to learn different lessons. And they're teaching us different things. So the sun has been teaching us about our thoughts, about communication as it moved through Gemini. Now it's going to be teaching about feelings as it moves through Cancer, and nurturing it and self-care. Mars, as it's moving through Leo, is about finding passion for what we want to take action towards. It's really the only thing that's in a fire sign right now, except for Chiron. Aries has been parked here too. So Chiron has been helping us heal. Right now it's at 12 degrees. It's helping us heal our relationships to how we feel about other people, how we feel other people feel about us. It's at 12 degrees. 1 is about our heart and what we love, and 2 is about our feel. What do we love? What do we feel? Where have we been wounded by who we want to fit in with? I kind of feel this, like the love of others, like did the people we wanted to love us I'm feeling some, especially because of this sun moving into Cancer, I'm feeling like there's going to be childhood memories surfacing where there may have been woundedness around connecting with networks and groups and others, maybe even like in grade school, and like didn't like the circle of friends, or even how you felt in your church group or camp group or something. I feel like there's some deep level psychic things that are going to be surfacing this week with childhood memories in a big way. I feel that very strongly with the sun moving through these early degrees of Cancer. There's also this dualistic energy. So as I was just reviewing my notes and just astrology and just staring, so I usually just sit there and stare at the different transits and let them speak to me, and what are they saying and what's going on here. Pluto in Capricorn is transforming the power paradigm on the planet. Capricorn's power and control. Pholus is here at 4 degrees. It's an initiating spark. This week we'll have a full moon at 3 degrees of Capricorn. So it's full moons are all about culminations, letting go. It's also bringing to fruition our intuition becomes the strongest and the most heightened when the moon is full. And so depending on which sign the moon is full in this week, it'll be full on Thursday. Let me see, I wrote down the exact time, 1:39 p.m. Austin time on Thursday. The moon will be at 3 degrees, which means the sun will be over here at 3 degrees of Cancer. All right, so it's going to be activating this Pluto. Pluto is already here in Capricorn. The full moon here at the beginning of Capricorn, even though they're wide apart, it's like beginning how I feel about personal this is initiating. I feel like this full moon is initiating and bringing to a close some power and control issues you've had with yourself. Like, how have you been parenting yourself? Like, how have you been talking to yourself? How's your inner parent, inner voice? The other thing is like the Cancer Capricorn axis. we'll have the sun and Venus here in the Cancer, and Pluto and Pholus, and the moon moving through Capricorn this week. So male energy, dad energy is Capricorn, feminine is Cancer. And so it can also be looking at, anytime we have planets in these signs, it can be looking at what is the balance between our inner masculine and our inner feminine, our inner parents. Is our inner dad loving and supportive and encouraging and inspiring? Or is it punitive and punishing, right? So depending on how our experience of father and patriarchal energy in our life, including church, our bosses, our male teachers, how is that in our early childhood? That will be activated this week, my son says. And here is, like, since this full moon is going to be at the early degrees of Capricorn, is how did we experience, what was our childhood experience of power, right? And so, like me personally, I saw early on that men had the power, right? And so that's been our society. That's what transforming and changing. And so we may have, and Pholus right here, Pholus is like a fire starter. It's like lighting a stick of dynamite. And so there's something initiating spark about a new power, like a new sheriff in town. Like, how are you going to talk to yourself internally? What is your inner power paradigm? Does your inner power control network talk to yourself with firm boundaries, the male Capricorn energy, loving, nurturing self-care, the divine feminine? Like, to me, this is an opportunity to really shift and change. Full moons can be about story changes. Like, this is like a change in your story. So you can really change your story about how you speak to yourself. I'm feeling this on a major level. Can you allow yourself to guide yourself firmly but lovingly with the male patriarchal, the male parent within, the father within, the inner father voice? Can you allow that to be firm but kind? Disciplined but loving. Like, you set boundaries for yourself and you set rules for yourself because it works for your life, right? This is how things function. The father energy in our life kind of gets us emotion, manages. It's the internal manager. The inner divine feminine works in cooperation with this, right? We have the inner divine feminine is also needs to be a kindness and compassion. This is what we can really draw off of Cancer. This is where the divine compassion and kindness is in the universe, is with Venus, is with the moon in the Cancer energy, and the sun bringing that. It's like, oh, it just brings this beautiful, warm, divine feminine energy, right? So it makes it easier to love on yourself, is what I'm getting. So I feel like this can really be a great 30 days of self-love and compassion. And so this can be a real initiating time of, I'm just going to love myself. Okay. Let me look at my notes here and see. Okay, so we're in the Pisces age, heading into the age of Aquarius. And these ages last for hundreds of, so we'll all be dead before we go into the age of Aquarius, but we're starting to feel it on the horizon. And the age of Pisces is what? It's the slippery fish going two different directions. It's duality, it's karma. And so we've been really dealing with heavy duty karma on this planet, all of us in our whole lifetimes, right? Gemini, the North Node as it's transiting Gemini, is also this dualistic theme, black and white, Gemini. So we're really being posed with a lot of choices. With the Pisces energy, what are you going to choose? You're going to choose your intuition, you're going to choose your head. You're going to do your high spiritual growth, or you're going to do a default. You're going to follow your gut towards your beliefs. You're going to go with what you're programmed. You're going to change your thinking. These are what's all been going on with these transits in Gemini. So there's been buzz up in Gemini that's really going to quiet the mind, especially when the mind goes direct. Mercury goes direct on Tuesday. I think we're all going to be feeling like, oh, finally, some peace. Okay, so Jupiter retrograde is finishing up the messages of what we were learning earlier from this year. I'm writing being gentle with yourself. I already talked about that. Downloads from spirit, connect with messages from the highest love on the planet. That's a divine love. That's not a human being's ability to love. This is the divine love, the highest capacity. So I want to invite everyone to open up to channeling that directly to yourself. Like go into meditation with the idea of channeling the highest divine, loving feminine energy as support and nurturing and kindness and compassion pouring into you, as well as the most powerful manifesting strength, determined male patriarchal energy bringing in together in harmony with each other. I feel like you can have this huge shift this week, an emotional cleanse. The sun later on this evening and tomorrow being at 0 degrees Cancer can feel really wiggy, especially with Venus trining Neptune. It can feel like it'd be a great day to like just take the day off and feel out. It's time to get the big picture for your life. Like this is the check-in point mid-year, this full moon this year in the June. Like we're almost midway through the year, right? All right. So what do you want to envision for the rest of your year? Are you accomplishing what you set out to accomplish this year? This is an opportunity to reset priorities, reset goals, kindly, firmly setting new determinations, new ways to discipline yourself, new ways to open up spiritually, to quiet the mind and listen to intuition. When Mercury goes direct, it's at 16 on Tuesday. It makes a 7, which is really downloading spiritual stuff. The sun at 0 degrees on Monday is a channeled place. Venus trining Neptune is a channeled place. Plus, it's the solstice. Oh, and happy Father's Day, too. So, today. So, I just feel like we're still basking in the light of the portals of the eclipses. So we're still kind of feeling that kind of wonky energy of what just happened. Because I think we're processing things on a deep, deep level. And that we'll just have the coughing up of inner childhood stuff this week. I just feel that very strongly. So if you're feeling like a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old or whatever, if that starts spilling up this week, allow yourself the space to just get in and nurture that inner child, right? Find out what that inner child within needs. Black moon Lilith here at 27 degrees of Taurus is bringing up to what we feel 7, our intuition. It's like fears of the future, like Christopher Witecki said this week that, which is one of my teachers that I follow. I'm just going to do a shout out to him and his service, seriousjoy.com. I highly recommend it. You can find him on YouTube as well. But anyway, 27 degrees of Taurus, Black woman Lilith there, according to Christopher, is the fear of what it takes to change the world. I thought that was very powerful, considering that I have my South Node and my North Node at 27, and I tap into that fear all the time. And my Jupiter here at 27 of past lives where I've been taken out when I've been in power. So I have a deep fear of actually stepping into my power. Because I came in to change the world. I came into hold space 0 to channel energy, basically. I mean, to me, this is the sign of me being a channel. 0 degrees, my midheaven here in the 10th house, Cancer. It's also Cancer ruling my 10th house is me being a mother of 6. So we have Black Lilith in Taurus. Any planet transiting Taurus is transiting the Earth itself. So this can also bring up fears of the future of the planet for all of us here. And Uranus has been shaking up the planet quite literally since it entered into Taurus 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. It'll be in Taurus another several years. It usually takes 7 to 8 years to transit a sign. It's shaking things up, breaking things down, building. It's like it knocks things down, but brings things to a better place. So it can be disconcerting because Uranus always brings curveballs. So it's been helping us change up how we value ourselves, or value our connections to others too. And who do we value? In whom do we place value? I say is that too. And so what else am I seeing in these charts? I'm getting that y'all are kind of like checking out with astrology. People can only follow astrology so long, right? So let me see. Sun trining Jupiter and Venus opposite Pluto on Wednesday. So Wednesday can be pretty wonky. Feel discomfort. The sun shining with Jupiter would normally be like a really huge beneficent. It's going to be shining on the feelings at 2 degrees. So Jupiter at 2 degrees, the sun at 2, Venus opposite Pluto. I feel like it can be a huge transformation day. The moon's going to be in Sag. It could be transformation of your beliefs. It can be a good things can happen. Good luck things can happen. Anything when Jupiter's involved can bring good luck. Even though it's retrograde, it can be like good luck from the past. Like, oh wow, I already like a check from something that happened a while back. So there's a kiss in there, and like the universe is trying to kiss you and shake you up at the same time. It feels like this week. So hold to your higher self is what you can do, because it can feel wiggy on a personal ego level. The sun at early degrees of Cancer is going to have our personal feelings and how we feel about ourselves really expanded. And then the Mars in early degrees of Leo is our ego and how we take action and how we feel about ourselves. So there's a lot of focus on feelings. Venus is in a sextile Black Moon Lilith on Thursday. So that can be this kind of kiss about, I really am going to be okay. I'm going to open up to spirit. I'm going to open up to the higher divine and know that all things are going to be well. I feel like it's an opportunity to change what you think about, change your story, change what you tell yourself is going to be happening. That's kind of what I get is that the cliff notes for this week is you have an opportunity to tell yourself a different story. Yeah, that's tell yourself a different story. Whatever you've been telling yourself, like life's hard, I never get what I want, nobody loves me, like whatever it is, you can change that. You can change what your story is, right? Okay, so that's what I'm getting with that. So I'm gonna take a little swig of my drink here, and I'm gonna move to checking on the astrology. I just checked on the astrology. That's Mercury retrograde still. A couple more days of Mercury retrograde and our brains will be back online. I don't know about you, but Mercury retrograde always has me putting my foot in my mouth. All right, so I'm going to turn this over to the higher octave of my spiritual self here. Bring in my spirit guides. Not that they haven't already been here, but I want to channel from the higher dimensions for each sign, starting with Aries. All right, so this is for your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or a stellium in Aries. Completion card. All right, so this week, Aries, you're putting an end to an old cycle, which is like right in rhythm with the full moon. Full moons are about culmination, bringing things to a closure, like enough of this. I'm going to do this differently. There's a shift. It could be a subtle shift or a major shift. I just feel like it's a major shift in your thinking, Aries, that you, and I get this just because this piece is being put in the third eye, which can be utilizing the intuition, like making space to not just let your mind tell you what to do, but let your intuition tell you what to do. And when something feels right intuitively, it's easier to commit to it, right? And so I feel like if you're listening strongly to your intuition this week, Aries, you can make a commitment to something that'll feel really good. It'll feel like, okay, yes, this is the piece of the puzzle I needed to do to make my life work. So I feel like it's something about like self-care or your routine with yourself, putting into place, like listening to your intuition. And so this to me is like your higher self has already been guiding you in this way, Aries. You've already gotten the information. So this isn't something new. This has already been downloaded. And so, you know, what have you already been getting the messages about? Like sit down and write them down. Like you already know. Like, so then it's a matter of committing to what did your higher self download, right? What did it say about eating sugar? What did it say about exercise? What did it say about being around toxic people or your work or whatever? What did you get, right? And this is about carving space to hold a new intention for a new picture for your life. Like the old story of whatever you've been repeating over and over and over again, like we're changing those stories, right? We came here to change those stories. So we initially come in here and just repeat this old karmic crap from past lives, right? And then once we start getting awake and conscious and we start seeing that we're repeating those same stories in cycles in this lifetime, and see where we can affect a change to change those stories. Those stories can be changed by changing how we think, what we believe, what we're holding, our vision, right? So this is all click coming together, Aries, this week. If you can hold firmly this vision for what you want for your life and how you want to feel about yourself and how you want to like feel in the world, like make sure you get your feelings in there when you're manifesting or holding a vision. How does it feel to be successful? How does it feel to be loved? How does it feel to feel healthy? Like go there in your mind's eye. Get that completed vision, Aries, this week is what I get. Like go ahead and do that vision board work. Like make a new vision board, like make a new vision for yourself. Check in again, create a new space, and then hold that through this week, through this full moon. And that's how you can really use the planets to help launch and manifest something. Okay, that's Aries. My allergies, as usual. Taurus. Isolation card, Taurus. So it feels like you may still be dealing with some heartache, something. So, I mean, it was just Father's Day today, right? So there could be something connected to your dad. If your dad has passed or if your dad hasn't been in your life, they could have brought up some feelings or grief today, Tauruses, or, you know, if you're watching this later, um, recently feeling this sense of isolation or just feeling that you have to do something by yourself. And there's a little bit of poor me, I feel like going on here. Um, it's all how you spin it. Sometimes doing your work alone, you can actually move through something more quickly. Sometimes you need help. And so to me, I feel like there's two different camp here, or maybe three. I'm getting the number three here. The number three here is here. All right. So what are the three camps? All right. Needing to ask for help is one. You're alone because you haven't asked someone to help you, that you need help. You know, you need help. You just need to ask for help. So that's going on. And I feel like, again, like someone's going, do I have to ask for help again? I've already asked for help. Yeah, sometimes you have to keep asking for the help. And if you got help from a good source, you might want to go back to that same source for more help. Sometimes you can help yourself, right? So that's one of the helps. Like, am I just staying stuck? And I could really stop this pity party and help myself? What little bitty thing can I do to affect a change and make myself feel good today, to make myself feel happy today? What action can I put towards something? What creative energy can I get moving to affect a change? Okay, and so what's the third? The third I'm hearing is miracles. Um, Solutions coming in from out of nowhere, just being open to a new way of looking at things, a new solution, new opportunities that may just be coming out of left field. I'm getting Taurus. Well, you do have Uranus just parked in your sign right now. So, um, but you have to be open to that. If you're doing the pity party, you're not going to be open to opportunities that might be coming in your way. So, and ask yourself, do I feel like I need to ask for help? Do I feel like I need to help myself? Do I feel like I need to be open to miracles? All three perhaps may be on the agenda. Like all three may be manifesting for you this week, Taurus. You're not alone. We're never alone, right? And so one of the great things that you can do when you're feeling alone is to help somebody else, right? To reach out to somebody else so that you're not alone. To go help somebody else. That can shift the energy, or to imagine, just tune in, take those negative feelings and go into a meditation or a chanting place with those raw feelings of not good enough, low self-esteem, nobody loves me, and like try to muster up a lot of compassion and nurturing from yourself. Let yourself channel that from a higher source to support yourself in that. And then imagine anybody else on the planet that has these exact same feelings, and imagine generating compassion to people who feel the same way you're feeling. And sometimes just realizing that you're not alone, that whatever you're feeling, guaranteed there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people feeling that same way right now on the planet at the same time. So, like sending a lifeline to other people, right? So, but I feel like Tara says you need to lift your vibration up a little bit this week, right? You might need to close down the computers, step away from the social media, like step away from the news, like calm the frenetic energy down and nurture yourself this week, Tauruses. Okay. Geminis. There's a happy dance going on with the Geminis. Y'all are ready for Mercury to go direct. All right. North Node at 10 is still about manifesting too. So you're manifesting some stress. The stress card's coming up, Gemini. So yeah, I mean, we're at 29 degrees of Gemini right now, and we're still with Mercury retrograde. So that's going to stir up stuff, particularly for the Geminis. Because the 29 degrees, like the testing degree. So it's the testing degree of our mental faculties and how we're thinking. And so it's easy for you guys to crawl up in your head and get stressed out and be worrying about what other people think. I'm really getting a lot of stress coming from what other people are trying to prompt you to do, what other people, like you feel like you're doing a dance to please someone else and it's not going to work anyway. Like, stop it. Just stop it, Gemini. Like, just please yourself. What's going to make you happy? Both sides of you. Like the twins here, like I like to look at them as like a higher twin and a lower twin. The higher twin is the higher self, the spiritual self, fully developed, intuition, fully developed. The lower self is the mind, the mental body, what we've been programmed. And if the lower self can still be like, if we've been programmed with lots of great food, for example, you've studied lots of different things and you learn lots of different things. So the lower mind can be super adept. One of the downsides for the Gemini bright-minded people is that mind gets so developed that it blocks the ability to feel intuitively, because we've got the committees up there fully developing two different sides of things. And then the intuitive part can get overshadowed by the lower mind, which is like, because here on this planet, what we learned, the initials after your name are so very important. Letters, initials, and like that's what's important, the mind, the brain, like, and the intuition hasn't been as valued. That's one of the things that's balancing out on the planet. The divine feminine, which is the intuition, is being balanced out with the divine masculine, which is, um, like men are mostly operating out of their minds. There's definitely men that are different than that, men that operate out of their feelings. And women predominantly operate out of their feeling bodies. And that's opposite. That can be opposite for some women. And that's usually why men and women don't relate to each other, because they're operating out of two different bodies, mental and feeling, you know. And if you could stop to feel the other person's feelings or allow the other person's thoughts to register, you're going to have better harmony within yourself and in your environment. So it feels like there's some dialogue, some discussion that needs to happen, maybe a third person that needs to be pulled in to weigh in on a situation you're trying to juggle with someone else. Um, let me pull another card here. The creativity card is coming up. So this is about it's being the creative channel. It's channeling music, art, writing. So those are the three. Dancing is another thing. So there's a need to, okay, this is what I'm getting with Geminis. There's Geminis that are like writers, whether you're musicians or you're writing screenplays or you're writing novels or books, I'm not sure. But I'm getting that there's Geminis that are struggling with a creative project and have been stuck. And so some of the stress is trying to figure things out too much. And so I feel like putting things down, stopping, taking a breath, approaching it from a new perspective is what's needed. And there may need to be some scrapping of some things that I've already written, some fresh ideas put in place. Like there may be some tossing out of things that you once put a lot of value around and are now shifting priorities direction. So that can be stressful too. If you're like letting go of something, oh, well, I always thought I was going to be whatever. And then you change your mind. Oh no, well, now I'm really clear. I'm going to do this instead. There can be part of yourself that feels stressed at abandoning dreams you've had before. It's okay to shift directions. It's okay to allow new things to open up. It's okay to feel differently about yourself. If you always felt crappy about yourself, it's okay to feel good about yourself and shift that, right? So Geminis, I feel like you've got some old archaic ways of looking at yourself that's creating stress for yourself. Those are the primary things that need to be shifted. And yeah, there may be little from other people coming in. The primary stressor has to do with how you're thinking about yourself. So if you can stop and try to look at that and ask yourself that question, it'd be a great thing to journal around, Geminis. How do I think about myself? What is my perspective of myself? What do I think to be true about myself? Because there's some stinking thinking in there. There's some overblown egoistic thinking too. Some Geminis think, I'm doing fine. But is your life working? If you're doing fine, your life is also working. Those two go together. Okay, so Geminis, your job this week is to take yourself from the stress that you're feeling now through, let the creative project emerge, write the song, write more pages in your script, write more pages in your novel, finish choreographing the dance. And I feel like you've got a completed project. Maybe even before the end of the week, by that full moon, you may have that project finished. So just dive into it this first few days. Get her done. That will alleviate the stress, Geminis. Okay, Cancers. And another swig. I'm getting an image of a mermaid. So I'm not sure why. So Cancer connection with mermaid. I have the mind card. So you like the Gemini. So you're ready for this Mercury to be done too. The good news is that the sun is moving into your sign. So some of this mental angst that you may have been feeling, uh, this is the mind going cray cray. This is when you crawl up in your head and you try to figure it out instead of feeling your way through something. You just end up more frustrated. Um, and so cancers, I feel like you're trying to perform for other people. Like again, there's an expectation coming from others or what you have to pull off for others, or it may be a work related stress, cancers, um, that I'm seeing you, but there's something that just feels like there's pressure being built up internally, mentally. And I mean, the way to alleviate that kind of pressure is meditation, breath work, chanting, like staring into a fire, going swimming, walking in the woods, like somewhere where you ground in the elements, Cancer. You got to get out of your head, like go for a walk, turn off the TV for sure. Like the frenetic energy is really getting to you, Cancers. Like it's the news, the media, something someone else has said. Like it feels like you need to stop, turn all frenetic devices off, all the tapes of that you're playing of what other people have said, turn those off. Like for your whole entire life. Like gets like, oh my goodness, if you did that, how quiet would it get inside your head? Just those things. Turn off all frenetic devices, turn off all tapes that are playing of what anybody has said to you, right? And then the biggie, turn off what you're saying to yourself. Then things get still and quiet, and then the dust settles, and then you can see your way how to take action. Like to me, cancers, y'all have no idea which way to turn, and you're like feeling like things are just hitting, and you're like waiting for the storm to pass. It's like this to me is you're hunkered down in the storm because there's a tornado uh watch going on, uh tornado warning or something. Like to me, you're ducking and covering from something, Cancer. And I mean, I feel like there's a need to state your truth to, Cancers. There's a need to speak up for yourself, and you may need to write it out. You may need to write it in a journal and see it for yourself first. But I feel like there's some things that make you emotional, and then it's hard to speak about them. So then you don't, because then you don't want to start crying or you don't want to get overly emotional. But you're not being able to process it mentally, so you need to talk about it. So grab a friend, talk it over with a friend. This is a great counseling therapy thing. Talk it over with yourself in a video recording and then watch it back. To me, that's a great way to watch what's going on with you. There's definitely need to get some insights into how you're speaking to yourself, how you're treating yourself, Cancers, and like, okay, up the self-love, up the nurturing. Um, there's some Cancer that has like, I don't know if it's a pierced lip or piercing here. That's something jumping out at me. There's a spike coming out here. So someone has, so I don't know if there's a Cancer person that has a spike, or you have someone in your life that is a Cancer that has this spike. Uh, or you're the Cancer and you have someone else that's a different sign that has, I don't know, but there's something about, and it feels like it's a teenager or younger, like someone in their early 20s. And um this spike is to me, it's the need to, as someone who's tried to speak up for themselves and then got rejected back. And so then they don't speak up for themselves. But it's like whatever that story was where you didn't get listened to, that can change. Like you can speak up for yourself and be heard. And I feel like that's one of the belief system changes you need to work on is I'm being listened to, I'm being heard, because I feel like there's somebody that's generating, nobody listens to me. Nobody listens to me. Nobody cares about me, or that kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, stop generating that to be true. Like, do you want that to be true? Like when you generate something like that, you create that very thing. So this is where you have to be vigilant about what you're sending out there. So if you want to be listened to, you want to be heard, if you want to help a space where you can actually speak up for yourself, Cancers are usually terrified of speaking up for themselves. They'd rather just stay quiet. Can I write it, please? Yes, you can. You just need to articulate it in some way to get it out. Because I feel like someone else is getting a sore throat because you're not saying something about it. So that's all I get with the Cancers. All right, let's go to Leos. Ordinariness card, Leo. So this is like some of you may be out like just gardening, planning summer vacations where you're just chilling, having just a happy day, got your hat on, blocking the sun. Um, Grass is green, things are good. I think Leos are experiencing a pretty peaceful, good time in your life. It feels like there's motion towards something. Things are easy. It's spring, flowers are blooming. Like there's a lot of good things, a lot of things coming to fruition. I just feel like there's a positive feeling here, Leos, that things are good, that spring has finally come. Things are growing, like business is growing, things are starting to open up. You're feeling optimistic. I feel like maybe you put on a little weight. Maybe there's some Leos that need to like eat a little less, move a little more, but be gentle and loving with yourself, like a little daily love. To me, the inside, you're starting to get some self-love and adoring yourself. And it's not all about being adored by others, like getting yourself flowers and not just waiting for someone else to buy you flowers, Leos. Um, and there's some Leo that's moving towards like, I'm seeing a literal play. And so auditioning for plays or writing plays or going to see plays, there's some where like being on the stage or seeing someone on the stage is very important this week. So yeah, move in that direction if you're being called to do that. There's definitely some Leos that are writing screenplays, Leos moving to stepping up to the stage, directing stage, trying out for plays, that kind of thing is like, yes, go for it. This is the time to move forward towards that acting. It could be also, it could be symbolic, just like public speaking or stepping onto a stage. It could be a musician stepping onto a stage, but it's like, go for it, Leos. Time to step back out on the stage. Time to shine. Shake the dust off, even though may have been a little while. There's an opportunity to just, even if you go out and do some karaoke, I feel like it's important to just get out in the public, go out and hear some live music and dance. Okay. This feels like a good positive week, Leos. Okay, we're going next to Virgos. I'm seeing sewing. So I don't, and it looks like an embroidery because I'm seeing like an embroidery hoop. So, and so it could be symbolic representing someone's grandmother or mother that's communicating with them. And so this is confirmation to somebody about your mother is with you, grandmother. But also as a call to literally doing some like needlepoint embroidery, something with a small hoop where you're maybe even embroidering initials or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. The master card is coming up for you, Virgo. So this is like a master. I feel like someone's actually working on your masters, or you're mastering something, or you're getting a black belt on something, or you're like, there's something where you're working on mastery, where the word master or mastery is a key piece, or even masked. Like there's a sailing element as well. A lot of insights are coming through for you guys. Virgos on the full moon, is also what I'm getting with that full moon being really strong, really loud. A lot of wisdom, a lot of wisdom. You're just, it feels like you've been collecting all this information, insight, and like you're processing and digesting it and then putting it back out into the world in a package that's uniquely you. So you're like integrating all these different things you've learned, all these different modalities, and then you're putting them out there in a unique way. That's what I'm seeing, Virgo, in a way where uh, I feel like someone that's watching is going to be renowned for their procedure. And it could be, I'm feeling like it's psychological, it's healing modalities, but you're putting together your own stuff and like, and it's different every time. There's definitely someone who's relying very heavily on their intuition. And you just, all you have to do is today and show up. The universe, the guides are working with you. There's so many people that need a piece of you. It's kind of like when a guru just travels around and sees devotees. You're really moving into the level where you need to just have people have an access to you and just be open. And I feel like there's some Virgos that are channels, and you're just like channeling information. So it's a combo of being open to spiritual information coming through, and then the wisdom that you've cultivated and everything you've learned. So like and it's this week, there's something powerful happening this week where you're putting that information out to the world. So that's the Virgo take on things. Okay, so now we go Libras. It's like Libra's a scale, so I'm getting like there's a joyful justice. Like some Libras are, maybe they're super happy at what Supreme Court upheld the Healthcare Act this week. Maybe that's really important to some Libras. Suppression card. All right, Libras. I feel like this is some deep, dark, old, crusty stuff that's coming up to be removed, right? Like lava spewing out. So you need to give yourself the space to let some funky, crappy, old, to me, this is like long held, suppressed negative feelings about yourself. And so like holding on to negative feelings about yourself, release yourself. See, like these like ropes that are just tying this, but he's got his hand on his head himself. He's holding his own head down. Like there's this beautiful, like, what is this, a sunrise, sunset, that if he just opened up, there's this, like, he's just feeling the looming clouds, like, but if he opened his eyes, there's this beautiful rays, there's the sun trying to peek through back in here. He's just caught up in these old karmic spider webs of debris and just harsh life. Just feels like it's been so harsh. Just almost feel like there's a like cutting energy. So Libras, I don't know if you're cutting on yourself, or if you used to cut on yourself, or that maybe the old stuff, maybe you have scars from where you're cutting yourself, or you've beaten yourself up. You're definitely beating yourself up emotionally, Libras. Okay, so whatever you've done, like forgive yourself. It's over, is in the past. You can't change any of it. You can't go back and do it differently, but you could stop in this moment and change your perspective from this heavy angst and doom and gloom to the light, the positive. What can I do to open and expand my life today? What can I do to set a positive cause today? To me, Libras, you need to start first thing in the morning and set a positive cause for each day. Because if you allow yourself to just tune into the feeling, especially I feel like there's a lot of empaths, Libras, and what you're unconsciously doing, I'm picking up, is you're waking up and then you're getting on social media, you're turning on the news, you're feeling in all this crap that's going on in the world around you. And then you feel crappy because you're pulling it all into your own body, and it's mirroring some old crappy feelings about yourself. I don't even feel it's how you feel about yourself today. I feel like it's the old ways you used to feel about yourself, and maybe it's just being a test of this, the old ways of feeling. And one of the things that's breaking through and breaking up and out is when you recognize, this is not how I feel about myself, this is not how I want to hold space within myself. You recognize you're holding sort of a depression energy or suppressed negative feeling energy. When you realize it, you can let it go in that moment, right? We can like stop and go, okay, no, I'm going to choose joy and over depression. I'm going to choose release over holding on. So it's recognizing you're doing it though, right? We can walk around unconscious and we don't, oh, we're not aware, we're caught up in the feelings and the doom and the gloom. And so we go, hold that, hold up, stop, stop, stop. Clear your energy field. Bring yourself out, Libras. Be careful about what you're absorbing from the world around you, okay? Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Balance things out. If it feels good, do it, right? If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. These are some basics. Like, it's really that simple. Life really can be broken down into, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. The problem is we often have this feeling body clouded up with other people's feelings and other stuff and old debris. So this is a clearing week, Libras. Dive in, let these crusty old crap go so that you have more space within. When you're holding on to something, you're in a contracted feeling within. Like if you're in a contracted, suppressed feeling going on within you, you're in this contracted state. The universe contracts away from you. So money doesn't flow in when you're in a contracted state. Love doesn't flow in when you're contracted state. Good news doesn't flow in when you're contracted state. When you can release that and open up and be resting and receive and get into this space, then that's reflected. And then things can pour in when you're open. You can receive love, you can receive money, you can receive good news, right? So that's what I'm feeling with the Libras is like, drop open, be willing to receive the very things that you're longing for. Let go of these old crusty feelings. Let them come up and out. Don't be afraid of crying or screaming or whatever. You may need to throw plates up against a brick wall or something, or scream into the shower to let some old feelings, like, I feel like if you discharge them quickly, you'll have this. I'm just feeling the more space in your body, Libras, by the end of this week. So good luck on releasing old feelings, Libras. And we have these Scorpios. Moon's in your sign right now. And will be over the next day. So past life card. All right, so I was really getting, there's a connection with Scorpios, with loved ones that have crossed over that are messaging you or will be messaging you soon. And there's also coming in back into your life, past life connections, people you've known before, situations you've done before, intentions you've set before, mission that, like realization of your mission from before. These kind of aha things are coming about Scorpios this week. Also not getting caught up. I feel like you're at a turning point. You can repeat an old pattern or you can go in a new direction and change your pattern this week too. Like again, full moons are changes of story. And so it's like you're back to to like starting point, Scorpio. So you're either bringing something to fruition, I'm done. This is over now. Now I'm starting something new. Or you're like, okay, one more round of the same old. I'm going to fill this out again. Like sometimes we can be drawn into karmic patterns that are not positive. Sometimes we can be drawn into new patterns that are. They resonate completely differently, right? Old karmic patterns that we've done before may feel really familiar. So there's like an easy slide to it. Like, oh, this feels right. People you've known before may feel initially, oh, this feels right. Just because you've known someone in a past life does not therefore mean they're the person for you in this lifetime. Like I've seen this over and over and over again. Just because there's a past life connection does not therefore mean this person is the best person for you this lifetime. It just means, okay, you're meeting up with someone you've known before. Again, coming back, it's like grab your partner, skip to Malou, come back to the center again. Thank you for this dance, and you pick up a new partner. Like to me, relationships are where we're learning. They're lessons. There's classrooms. There's schoolrooms. So Scorpio, you're learning a lot of lessons through relationships right now, particularly past life connections. It's okay to turn your back on someone you've had a past life connection and go, yeah, this is enough for this lifetime. I'm not doing this anymore. And there's still some new people coming in, like that you've known from past lives, but you haven't met them yet in this lifetime. So there's like, there could be someone new on the life stage, Scorpio, coming in this week that is like a past life connection. Like, I know you, yet you're new. I don't know you, but I know you kind of feeling. That can happen this week, Scorpio. So follow the breadcrumbs, right? Follow the breadcrumbs. If it feels right today, do it. Anything else for the Scorpios? No. All right, Sagittarius. I feel like you've been having fun. It's been super social, party. Like it feels like the sun's been out for the Sagittarius. Now Jupiter is your ruling planet, so it's starting to turn retrograde. So you may, as retrograde action is happening today and into this week, you may be all of a sudden, well, hold up, I don't really want to go be social. You may just stop and want to just go within and be kind of quiet all week long. The completion card is coming up for you. This is, to me, this is completing projects, completing your ideas, again, completing your vision. This is time to check in. This is, again, like, what do you want for the rest of this year to be happening? It could even literally be doing a puzzle, Sagittarius, like with these puzzle pieces, or getting your nails done. I'm really seeing the nails here. There's something about maybe getting your nails done with a friend that's important or something. There's a final piece of the puzzle coming together, Sagittarius, this week, like a missing piece, like missing information coming together, like something you didn't know, finally knowing. And it feels good. It's like, okay, now I can see clearly. It affects how you were looking at things. And I feel like you need to clear your energies, Sagittarius, with all the social you've been doing. I feel like there's a lot of stuff just still around your head that you're still processing. It feels like you had some bombardment of some stuff that you still have to process through. So having your space to yourself, you may need to journal about it. You just need to talk it over with some close friends or just sit with it and process it. But I'm really getting Sagittarius, you need some processing time this week, some quiet time, downtime, just time to like chew on what's happened, get clear about finishing loose ends, finishing something so that you can start some new cycles, new things for yourself, new projects, maybe some creative projects for the summertime. Feels like there's definitely creative projects going on for Sagittarius. Okay. Is that it for the Sagittarius? Yes. Capricorns. Stress cards coming up for you, Capricorn. Trying to finish something. There's projects that you're trying to finish, but it feels like you're trying to herd cats, trying to get other people to this. I mean, to me, like your default is usually just to do it yourself, which can also be stressful. But sometimes it's easier just to do it yourself than to try to coordinate with other people. So that feels like one of the questions you're juggling. Is it easier for me just to do it myself? Or do I want to work at making sure I'm giving clear instruction to these other people so that they do it like I want them to do it? It feels like that's what's going on. And just like, it just feels like a lot of noise in your head, Capricorn, like a lot of inner noise. So I'm getting, they need to just like putting maybe some ocean sounds, definitely need to meditate, soak in the tub, stand in the shower, go listen to water. There's something about the water element of helping here clear out the mind and the brain right now that the Capricorns are needing. I'm also seeing like the lighting of sage or incense or smoke, that there's like maybe you're clearing the energy in your house is needed, Capricorn. Definitely, there's been like people visiting, stuff going on in your house. I feel like your house needs clearing. So like that sage, that dragon's blood, those incense, that's clearing. Yeah. Anything else, Capricorns? No. Clear your space, Capricorns. Might need to be clearing some clutter too. That can help with the energy clearing. Okay. Now, Aquariuses. All righty. Drew a couple different cards. I'm going to do both of them. Got the Patience card and the Adventure card both came up into a best. So Aquarius, putting together would be somebody's having a baby coming, new child coming, pregnant woman. So this is a confirmation on someone who's wanting to manifest a child coming in. On the other hand, it's a new opening, adventure, a new beginning that's going to take a while, a journey that's going to require some patience. There's also that. It's also a reactivating of something you long to do as an inner child, and giving yourself the patience to pursue that's going on. And the third card jumped out of here, which is another connected to this inner child card. This card represents feeling I can't, because this child's looking at what he wants, but he feels stuck, right? That there's chains and locks. But the deal is this lock is not fastened, it's just hanging there. So it represents how we tell ourselves I can't, and then we won't. And so there's something together with this. So there's someone who's trying to get pregnant and can't, or hasn't been able to. And that block is being removed. Maybe you're having surgery, maybe you have a tumor removed, you're having something where something's removed. And so the way's being opened for you. And so there's good news, just holding the space. And you can trust this energy of feeling this soul around you too. So of course, that's not happening for every Aquarian, but it can also be symbolic of a new birth, a new project coming. So this new baby could also be symbolic for some of you Aquarians of a new venture, a new creative thing, something new you're beginning. And maybe something that's going to take a while, something you're afraid you don't know how it's going to turn out, but I've got to get started, take action, just put yourself, through that space where you're visualizing it, you're believing in it, you're talking in it, and you're asking yourself, what today? What action can I take today towards it? Yeah. Blocks are being removed for the Aquarians, and you're able to like ease on down the road towards manifesting your dreams. And so there's some block being removed, some progress towards dreams that are tangible and real this week. Okay. And then we have Pisces. And we have the transformation card for the Pisces. Okay, with Jupiter going retrograde in your sign, Neptune in your sign, there's definitely emphasis on spiritual transformation and listening to your higher self and having great inspirational downloads and victories and like just transforming obstacles into benefits, transforming poison in your life into medicine. There's some huge shift of something that felt dark and scary and oh my God and oh no, that instead of the worst case scenario happening, the best case scenario happens instead. And you're like, oh my God, it's just like flip sides of the same coin. And it's really just trusting that you can have divine help, that you can have spiritual insights and downloads can happen. It's like it's activating spiritual help is what it feels like relying on your higher self connection, your intuition, your connection with your higher self, your spirit guides, your loved ones on the other side. There's some major transformation happening by grabbing this perspective in your life, Pisces, that you don't have to get lost in the mire of your feelings and the empathy of other people's feelings, that clear your emotional body out, and transformative ideas, realizations, ahas are coming this week. Very, very powerful. And some deep insights about duality within this, like how it takes the dark to make the light, how it takes an obstacle. It's kind of like, how do we build our muscles through resistance? So sometimes it's in moving through something more that takes more concerted effort, that's more difficult, it's more strenuous, that actually builds a muscle, builds confidence. There's something where you're seeing progress made and you're seeing a big breakthrough this week, Pisces. So good week for the Pisces. All right, so that's what I have. Let me know if you'd like to take advantage of my summer special and schedule a party for yourself or for others. Whether you want to pay for it or whether you want your guests to pay for it is basically what I meant with that. Yeah, it's going to be a good week. That's what I'm feeling. I like full moons. I'm a psychic though, so it's kind of when psychic abilities are most heightened. So I encourage all of you to lean into your intuition this week and have a great week.